Well, hello everyone. So welcome back. And for this Wednesday, no, I'm sorry, Monday, we had an examination, the first unit examination. I hope you all performed well in your examination. And today we are going to take a break from the prose reading, and we are going to look at a drama play. Okay. But before that, of course, I'm going to talk a little bit about the syllabus, what's going to happen for the next week. Okay, so now we are looking at our syllabus. And for next week, which is the week 7, well, we are going to look at one of the drama plays, and it's from Lao She Ca Guan, the tea house. And this one is already assigned to one of your groups. So this is going to be a group presentation. So what's going to happen is on Monday of the week 7, so which is going to be March the 15th, since Wednesday is March the 17th. Okay, so for that day, there will be no lecture. And instead, the day of the class is designated for a movie viewing. So I have already uploaded, not exactly uploaded, but I do have a link to a drama, a movie of the Ca Guan, which is a shoot based on the novel Ca Guan. So on Monday, March the 15th, there will be no lecture from me. Instead, you're supposed to view or to watch the link on the blackboard, and the link is to a movie that is shoot based on the drama manuscript Ca Guan. Okay, so that's what's going to happen on Monday. And for Wednesday, as you can see here, it's a synchronous lecture, which means everyone, when I say everyone, I mean everyone needs to be present on that day at our Zoom visual classroom. And the group that has been assigned to perform Ca Guan will present their presentation. Okay. Still, for week 7, there will be discussion questions due, as well as journal due, even though there will be no lecture, no class lecture. Okay, so for today, we are going to look at the drama play Qu Yuan from Guo Moruo. Okay. All right. So basically what's going to happen today is I am going to give you a demonstration, pretty much like a demonstration on how your group supposed to present the drama script that are assigned to you. Of course, you can have some new element added into your presentation, and you can take out some of the elements from my presentation. It's all based on you, but I'm just trying to give you some hands up of the points that you can include it in your presentation. Okay, so in terms of the presentation, what you could do is you can, of course, include, of course, the first you need to introduce, briefly, very, very briefly, because all 3 drama plays are really, really long, drama plays. So briefly introduce the story of the assigned manuscript of your group. And other than that, what you can do is you can do analysis on major characters in this drama play. And what you can analyze on will be, you can focus on, their personality. So a good play, a good drama will have multiple main characters. And each characters will have its own identity, its own personality. Okay, so one of the things you can do is you can look at their personality, and you can, of course, the personality will be not explicitly, wrote on the script. So how could you define, this personality is like that? It's through how they talk, how they act, how they react, so stuff like that. And you can talk about why you think this particular character is, this personality through A, B, C, D, E, F, G. And of course, you can talk about the representativeness of this character. So a drama play, the characters in the play all were created based on some kind of real person. So they probably not a one real individual, but they will represent, they will show some of the characteristics of a certain type of person. So what you could do is you can discuss about the representativeness of this major characters, what kind of a group of people they represent and why so. And of course, you can talk about some more insight thoughts of you regarding, of course, in terms of this particular characters. Why do you think the author create this person? Okay, and what's the what are the reasons, and what does the author want to portray through this particular character? So those are the very interesting things that you can discuss. And of course, what else you can discuss? You can do a discussion on the whole drama play, for example, okay, the content, the topic, okay, as well as how the story is constructed and the layout of the story. And of course, the writing style, and as well as some of the skills that the author that has been utilized in this in his writing. And that includes the choices of different words and the language used. And some of the drama plays that I selected and assigned to you, the language that are used in the drama is really local. Okay, so it shows vividly through the conversation. All right, and some of the terms, or when I say terms, it's not necessarily terms. Some of the aspects that you can also look at while you do the analysis are, first, you can look at the way how they express, how they portray the characters, and as well as how how the author have the story developed and progressed. So is it like a narrative? Is it like a descriptive? Is it like illustrative? Okay, argumentative, stuff like that. And of course, some of the strategies that are used in writing. That includes what kind of rhetorics that are used, what kind of sentence patterns that are used. Is there any influence from any, like, say, foreign literature, or is there any influence from the classical Chinese literature, stuff like that. And of course, you can look at the rhetorics. Okay. All right, and next thing that I have here is I have to explain this to you because this group presentation thing is I want to say new, but it's also not new. The not new part is the group presentation. Group presentations, I'm sorry, was not new because every semester when I do this course, the Lyric Probe appreciation course, we always have group activities where student will put into quite a big group, usually 9 or 10 people, and they will present one of the drama plays, but not in the way that we are going to do this semester. So this semester is different because of the pandemic. We cannot do face-to-face class. So I have to change it into an online course. Therefore, we are lacking of this in-person communication. We are lacking of this, in-person exchange. Therefore, we have to do it in a kind of a presentation format. But before, what we do is I will actually ask the students to perform the drama play, to act on the story. So this I considered, I want to be honest, this actually is considered one of the highlights of this particular course because all the students, they enjoyed it. For the past semesters, we even have students that are not enrolled into this course coming into the, coming into my class, sitting in there just to watch the drama play of my students. And it was well received for every time when we had this presentation. The group activity is not exactly presentation. It's all very well received. So, so that is why I want to share with you some of the clips from my previous classes. There are a couple of classes. Actually, each of the semester, there will be at least one group that impressed me so much. And by now, I still remember the thing that it performed. And this one, the one, I think I'm sharing that. Yeah, the one we are currently looking at is from 2017. It's from my 2017 class, and they are performing a Chaguan from Lao She. And one of the female actor, my female student, she really gave me such an impression that till now I still memorize, how she performed, and still, I still praise her for all the effort she made into, acting the drama. So I'm gonna share with you just a couple minutes of their play. Just give you a kind of taste what it could be if we were doing this face to face. And there it goes. Hold on, I think let me share. Let me reshare because I need to share with the sound. There it goes. Share sound. Okay, now let's see. Not this way. Let me try. This one. There you go. And okay, there we go. So here's the clip. Now you can hear.
尊家吃着官饷，圆明园被烧，英法园。
哟，吴爷，您办案呢？You
see the way he falls? It's how local Beijingese greeting.
这俗话说得好，官面管不了的事我管，官面管得了
That was
的
my
事
PA shoot
我便
the
不在
video,
多言，
and
你说
that
对
lady
不对？
is so not good at this.
能够看得到我的小黄鸟。
And everything, you see the teacups, the snacks, the water, all the signs, you see the thing, the pictures.
庞总管，听说您最近有喜呀？ 先给您
on the
拜
board.
个席。
They brought it themselves and do the paper cutting.
谢谢您，庞总管呢。
You see the way that he talks? That's exactly the way it should be according to the script.
康六带着康顺子进来。
And they have a narrator. Oh, what did I do?
找洋人。两句啊，别走啊。
你等着吃喜酒吧。
那谢谢您，庞总管呢。 康六带着康顺子进来。
姑娘，爸爸对不起你。我说一个乡下丫鬟要200两银子。
哎呀，乡下人可长得俊呢，你带进城里来，好好一调教一打扮，嘴宝又好看又规矩。我给你办事啊，比亲爸爸更用心，一丝一毫不能马虎。
好，带进来瞧瞧吧。
现在就去。来，怎么了？点头了吗？都说好吧，快来见见总管。来，给总管磕头。
She was really kneeling down.
身
Yeah,
子，
dedicated
身
to
子。
this guy.
怎么回事？怎么回事？又饿又累，活不着了。要活的，不要死的。哎，走。呸！
That's what I was talking about. This was not her best perform, but she is really dedicated to this play. All right, this is from one of the 2017 performance. And next clip I'm gonna share with you is from my 2019 class. That's also a very good one. So the first, it's right here, and there it goes. Okay, so this is the 北京人, and the boy here, the male student, he was really the way he talks and the way he acts. Just so vividly portrays the figure in the story.
昨天晚上把纸条给你了，我就想再见你一面，我好走。他告诉我们睡觉了，苏芳，明天我一定走了，这个家我不想再回来了。
不回来是对的。
我绝对不回来。今天我想了一晚上，这10几年是我害了你，因为我一直觉得我们，你怎么了，淑芳？
我累得很。
可怜淑芳，我简直不敢再想，不敢想以后的日子怎么过。你就像这只鸽子似的，孤零零的在这笼子里，
They made a palm themselves.
等到有一天，
你不要再说了。
我们为什么就不能长2个翅膀，一起飞出去呢？我不甘心啊！
这样还不够吗？你要怎样才甘心啊？
淑芳，跟我一起到南方去吧。
还提这事啊？
如果你不想跟我去，那你就答应今天早上那件事吧。
为什么？
因为这个家，我绝对不会再回来了。所以我想答应你，你也不要在这待了。你看看这个家，除了耗子，吃人的耗子，啃我们字画的耗子，还有什么？我看袁先生是可托的，你要不就嫁给他。淑芳，你回答我呀，淑芳，你不要不说话呀，你是不是？你给我说呀。
我是。
啊，就在后面。
哎，来吧，来吧，我马上要上垒了。
Okay, so right. So from the clip, you can see how much fun we had. Just too bad that we cannot do this through online, modality, because obviously we have to social distancing. So all the all the touching, all the gestures, we cannot do that. But yeah, But I think we can eventually figure out a way to make it work. Maybe, you know, instead of performing this, you can just do the you know, deeper, more profound, more insight analysis of all the characters, as well as the drama plays. So for the other, for, you know, the clip I showed you, they did, because I chatted with them afterwards. They did you know, devoted a lot of times into rehearsing this. As you can see, they memorized all the lines of each character. So that is really something. I mean, that you have to put your heart and soul into it. Okay, and therefore through their performance, you can see that they really understand it, the character that they you know, they are trying to be. So I do hope that you can, you know, you can put the same effort, the same dedication into your presentation, even though you cannot perform it, but at least you can present your you know, your interpretation of the story, as well as the characters. All right, so that's some of the clips. I hope you enjoyed it. Sometimes when I look back at those clips, they still make me laugh, make me smile. All right, and let's talk about the article, the material that we are looking at. I'm sharing, right? I'm sharing. Okay, let's talk about the material that we are looking at. 屈原. Actually, Guo Moruo is not a stranger to us. Last semester, we learned a couple of poems from him. If you still remember, the Heavily Hung, 天狗, as well as the Nirvana of the Phoenix, 凤凰涅槃. So I'm not gonna repeat again to introduce the author. So if you haven't attended my course last semester, you can always, you know, Google the introduction of him. But speaking of that, I do want to mention, because when I read your journals, when I read some of the discussion posts, you know, from previous discussion posts and the journals, I do see some students got quite confused of certain authors, for example, Zhou Zuoren, because if you search Zhou Zuoren, you know, in the website, especially if the website is Chinese website, lots of the comments, it's on his personalities. Okay, it's more on him as a human being, as a person, not much on his achievement on the literature writing. And even for the comments on him as a person, sometimes can be very, very biased. I don't want to go too deep into that, but the thing is, for our course, we are looking at their achievement, their contribution in terms of literature. Okay, so regardless whether he's a bad person, he's a good person, he's a mediocre person, that shouldn't be overshine, shouldn't be offset the contribution, the great achievement that this particular author, this particular scholar achieved, you know, in terms of literature writing. And Guo Moruo, again, this person, he also received many critiques on him, as he's such a person, right? But that, like I said, that shouldn't override his you know, great contribution and his achievement on the writing, literature writing, poetries, drama plays, stuff like that. Okay. Well, this was some of the thing I prepared for my previous semesters. But this year, because it's a little bit different, so I'm short on time. That's why I'm not gonna go into detail on my view or my stance on this particular author. But this is the thing that I do need. I do urge you to memorize, to know. Okay, so these are the new words, the vocabularies, and characters that are picked up from this the drama script, 屈原. Okay, let's just go over them just quickly. I will upload this PPT onto the course website, so you don't need to really copy down things. Let's just go over them quickly. So this one, 骄矜, proud. Okay, so especially the second character, 矜, pronunciation. And the next one, 怯懦, it's not 去. I heard so many native speakers, pronounce it wrong, 怯懦, 怯懦, timid. Okay, and next up, 懈怠, sluggish. And this one, 溢, to bail out, 沉出来, especially for liquid water. And next one, 凶煞. 凶煞 is actually a noun, but sometimes, or many of the times now, it's used as an adjective. So 凶煞 basically is a demon, 魔鬼, but now it's used as demonized. And next up, 蹊跷, okay, weird, odd. And next one, 放肆, 放肆, presumptuous. Okay, and this one, 业, like 摇曳, meaning to buy, to drag, or tall. And this one, 怜悯, okay, to take a pity on something, take a compassion on something. And this one is a name, 褒姒, 褒姒, okay. 褒姒, 姒is her family name, last name. Bao is the clan, 家族. So 褒氏家族 gave the Si girl to the warlord. That's why her name is eventually became 褒姒. All right, next one is 踌躇. So especially the second one, not 踌躇, not the first tone, the second tone, 踌躇, hesitate. And next one, 愠色, not 温色. Okay, look of resentment. And this one is a proverb, 刻骨铭心, very, very memorable, like you carve it into your bone, not easy to forget. And this one, 毛骨悚然. So these two doesn't have the pinyin pronunciation. So if you're not sure, write it down. Okay, 刻骨铭心, 毛骨悚然. So 毛骨悚然 be horror stricken with every hair erected. Okay, so it's so horrible, it's terrifying that you got goosebumps. And next one, 诡谲, okay, strange and changeful. And the second column, 缄默, silence. Okay, I didn't have the English pronunciation, probably I forgot, but you can write it down. It's just silence. Next one, 恭谨, being respectful, very cautious. And this one, 委婉, comply and amiable. 仓促, rapid. And 杀戮, massacre. And next one, 狂妄, arrogant. And next we have 诬陷, to frame up, okay, to set up. And next one, 帛书, okay, so book copied on silk. 帛 means cloth. And next one, 害, frighten, terrify. And this one, 诗, it's a kind of a plant used in divination. And this one, 蠢夺, 蠢夺, meaning to speculate, conjecture. And this one, 鳏, 鳏寡孤独, that's from 孟子, right? 鳏 means widower, but it's mainly what? older people. 老而无妻曰官，就是年纪大了又上了偶的没有妻子的男人叫官啊。寡就是年纪大了没有丈夫的，就去了没有死了丈夫的，或者是没有丈夫的叫寡。孤儿啊，就是小孩子丧父叫孤。so 鳏寡孤独是老而无子，年纪老了但是没有儿子。好，下面这个字啊 the next one 渣 to be honest I myself didn't really know this word, this character, so only from this drama play I saw it. 渣 meaning to write, P-O-P-L-E. There it goes. And this one 潸然泪下, so 潸然 in tears, tearfully. And the next one 执着, to pace up and down, basically when somebody is in the mood of hesitating or nervous, okay, 执着, they pace up and down, they couldn't decide. All right, so these are the new words that I picked up from the drama play 屈原, the script 屈原. Okay, so now let's really look at 屈原. Some of the background information. So first, 屈原was written by 郭沫若, and believe it or not, 郭沫若 wrote 屈原 within 10 days. So this script, this is thick as this, right? 50-something, 60 pages, was produced within 10 days. Right here. Okay, so that exactly shows how talented 郭沫若 is already. All right, and not only that, so 屈原had received such a huge success after it performed on the stage, and like it's stated here, it was considered the climax of 郭沫若's drama production. Okay. And it was banned. So the first, it was on air first performed in 1942, and it was banned probably like 5 months later by the 国民党 government, because it was like mirror the reality. Okay, so why this particular play received such enthusiastic welcomes? It has to do with the literature, historical background. So this was, remember, it was 1942, and it was the third 10 years, so it's the second phase of the modern Chinese literature, right? So if you still remember, during the third 10 years, the third stage of the modern Chinese literature, the 国民党controlled area has gone through a kind of fluctuation situation, right? So at the beginning, 1937, the Japanese troop invade, so everyone was so angry, and everyone was so firmly believed and enthusiastically believed that we are going to win this war, just like that. And by 1942, 5 years passed. Well, we haven't achieved that goal. Not to say that we got lost more and more land. And not only that, so the 国民党government, they are really passively in fighting against the Japanese troops, and at the same time they put more of their eyes, energy, efforts, and military troops in depressing or in compressing the 共产党party, the CCP. Oh, so therefore, these little T's, they are lacking of a way to express their excitement, to let go of their anger, because they cannot explicitly criticize the Kuomintang government, and they cannot explicitly express their their support their support of the 共产党, because you're going to be persecuted, and that is how the literature production, they try to figure a way, they run up the way that they look for heroes in the Chinese history, and they mirrored the reality in this historical literature writing. Okay, so under these circumstances, Qu Yuan was born. Qu Yuan was born. All right, so this is really like an opening where that the nation's anger, the nation's excitement, the nation's all the feelings, emotions finally find a way out, and that is why Qu Yuan was so welcomed at that time, because if you already, I assume you've already read this script, you will see some of the language, some of the words, some of the sentence structures are really explosive, just like the poem of Guo Moruo. And that just exactly caters to the taste of the little T's at a time. All right, so when we talk about this, we have to really look at the artistic expression of the Qu Yuan. So Qu Yuan is a typical romanticism, 浪漫主义的代表。Okay, 浪漫主义示意。Okay, so in the script we can see there are really there are many the monologues from Qu Yuan, which are more like poetry rather than just a conversation, and there are many symbolism that are used, and like I said, the characters, even though the characters are real person in the history, but the author Guo Moruo, he actually twisted these characters as well as the stories, but even though he based on the true story, the true characters of the history, but he did create some new elements, add some new elements into the characters as well as the story, and like I said, to mirror, to reflect the reality of the situation then. Okay. And now we are going to briefly introduce some of the briefly introduce the stories. There are a couple of main characters: Qu Yuan, Song Yu, Chan Juan, Zheng Xiu. Jing Shang is already not so important. So basically, the previous four, 1, 2, 3, 4, Qu Yuan, Song Yu, Chan Juan, and Zheng Xiu. These two pairs, these four characters are the major, the primary characters that I want to talk about. So it's a 5-part drama. So the first part was happened in Qu Yuan's Qu Yuan's residence, the house, right? So it started with Ju Shong. So the play started with Ju Shong. Qu Yuan created this Ju Shong, wrote a Ju Shong as a gift to Song Yu. Song Yu is one of his disciples. He's really fond of the disciples, and therefore he wrote this poem Ju Song, because he thinks that Song Yu has the has the virtue of a Ju, which is really what was the original? Let's see. 不骄矜，不怯懦，不懈怠. Okay, so not really self-esteem. Okay, but not afraid and often loyal. And that was pretty much that. So the first thing is like an introduction, okay, of all the characters. And the Chan Juan supposed to be Qu Yuan's maid. Okay, I want to say maid, but she's a maid, but Qu Yuan treated her like his own daughter. And Zheng Xiu was not mentioned. Zheng Xiu was the mother of Zilan, and then again, Zilan is the other disciple of Qu Yuan. Okay, and Zilan is the son of Zheng Xiu. Zheng Xiu is the empress, or maybe a concubine of the empire of Chu Huaiwang, the Chongji ma. Yeah, and concubine. It's not a wife; it's the concubine. Okay, and so in the first scene, Qu Yuan was kind of lured into the second, second scene, which happened in the courtroom. So where Zheng Xiu set up, framed Qu Yuan and to make the Chu Huaiwang believe that Qu Yuan had this kind of affair, or Qu Yuan kind of insulted Zheng Xiu, Nan Hou, also called Nan Hou, who is Chu Huaiwang, the emperor's favorite concubines. And so the second thing basically is describe how Zheng Xiu set up this trap and eventually framed the Qu Yuan. And of course, she succeeded, and Qu Yuan was arrested. Okay, so the Chu Huaiwang drove him, away from the nation's court. And the second part, the third part is Qu Yuan returned from the courtroom to his own, to his own house, and we're here that the whole incident was spread out, went viral, so everyone knows about the story that Qu Yuan insulted Zheng Xiu in the court, and they claim that Qu Yuan was kind of mentally ill. Okay? And of course, Chan Juan, she didn't believe it because she still highly respected Qu Yuan. She believes in him, but Song Yu, who was metaphor as a Ju by Qu Yuan, was gave in to the people in power. And the fourth part happened outside the city wall, where Qu Yuan ran away because people thought he was mad. He was ill, mentally ill. So Qu Yuan feel such mistreated, misunderstood. So he ran away, and Chan Juan tried to look for Qu Yuan. So by this the city wall, they met this old man Yu Fu, and Yu Fu was one of the performers that performed in the city court and who witnessed the whole thing of how Nan Hou Zheng Xiu set up the whole thing. And so here the truth revealed, and Chan Juan eventually confirmed that Qu Yuan is still the Qu Yuan that she highly respected too. Nothing changed. He's still somebody that holds ground really well. And also here, Qu Yuan and Chan Juan, they are both arrested by Nan Hou and Chu Huaiwang and put in jail. And then comes to the fifth part. There are actually two things. One is, in the jail, and the other one is Donghuang Taiyi Miao, right? So in the jail, where Chen Juan was, put into. So what happens here is the disciples Zilan and Song Yu, they came to see Chen Juan. They, they tried to take advantage of her, of her arresting, and wanted her to surrender. And Chen Juan, though she looks like she's somebody so tender, so mild, but she is actually internally she's a strong person. So she's very tenacious, and she refused to surrender. She refused to give in. And as somebody that spent time with Chen Juan, before, and know her well, and treated her, maybe as a friend, both Song Yu and Zilan, they were very insensitive of her story, of her tragedy, and they didn't even, care to help her. And instead, some kind of a stranger, a guard, a jail guard, who feels so sympathetic to Chen Juan's experience, and eventually let go of Chen Juan secretly. And the last thing happened in the Donghuang Taiyi Miao, where Qu Yuan was kept. So again, the guard of this temple, Donghuang Taiyi Miao, was the father of Zheng Xiu, the Manhou Zheng Xiu, and he got an order from Zheng Xiu, which is to assassinate Qu Yuan by poisoning Qu Yuan. Okay, and so here is actually the highlight part of the whole drama play. Here's where made this drama play, the script is so powerful, is there is a long monologue from Qu Yuan, which is called Lei Dian Song, where Qu Yuan tries to express his feelings through chanting the Lei, the Dian, the Feng, the Yu, and the Huo. Okay, and this is a really long. When you read this part, you just cannot help but to think of his poem Feng Huang Niepan. Okay, so they're so similar in many ways, and so the Lei Dian Song eventually became so popular at that time. It seems like all the literatists, anybody who has at least some of the education in literature, they will chanting Lei Dian Song, one way or another sometime. Okay, so after this long monologue, of course, the Chen Juan, who with the help of the jail guard, escaped from the place that would rounded her up, and she found Qu Yuan here in the Donghuang Taiyi Miao. And for some reason, however, there's no guard whatsoever, and she can easily sneak in to meet with Qu Yuan. And of course, she took the poison for Qu Yuan and eventually died for Qu Yuan. And Qu Yuan was desperate, so desperate. And again, with the help of the jail guard, Qu Yuan managed to escape and eventually flee away. All right, so that's the whole story. And so my take on the characters as well as this play. Okay, so I want to talk about here the 4 main characters in this play. The first one, of course, is Qu Yuan. So Qu Yuan could be very representative. It's like a really symbolic. He's somebody brave, loyal, and full of the fearless, and have the spirit of resist the unfairness, or let's say full of the spirit of fighting against the things that he not agree on, let's say that. And the portrayal of Qu Yuan, it just so caters to the taste of the people back then, where they really need a hero that can show the emotion of fighting against the controlling classes. Okay, and to contrast with Qu Yuan, then we have Song Yu, okay, who was at the beginning of the play was somebody really virtue. Okay, even Qu Yuan praised of him, said he's like a Ju that so loyal, okay, so humble, but so unbendable. Yet Song Yu is so easily to give in and so easily to surrender to the power class. Okay, so he didn't even fight. He just did, immediately bold, kneel down to Zheng Xiu, to the Nanhou, who are in power. So from Qu Yuan and Song Yu, this is a contrast. This is such a huge contrast. And when we look at Song Yu, you just have to really, really appreciate, the virtue, the brave, the fearless characteristic that Qu Yuan had. All right, and another pair I want to compare are the Chan Jue and Zheng Xiu. They are both female characters, right? And Zheng Xiu, it's the Nanhou. It's the supposed to be the bad guy, right? The bad person in this drama play. So he set up the whole thing. She set up the whole thing. She framed Qu Yuan and eventually put Qu Yuan in jail and caused Chen Juan's death. Okay. Her motivation, however, to do everything, and it was mentioned, I think, in the second part, the 第二幕, right, was out of jealous because the commissioner from Qin is going to send some kind of a pretty girl to Chu Huaiwang, and Zheng Xiu, she was afraid that she is going to lose the favor of Chu Huaiwang. Okay, and that's the motivation that made her to set Qu Yuan up. So let's put the logic aside for a moment, because I don't think it's really logic here. But let's put that illogic plot aside. Just to look at Zheng Xiu's personality, we can say that she is a very selfish, and she represents, of course, the people in power, in control, right? And she cares more about her personal benefit than the benefit of the nation. So in order to not lose the favor of Chu Huaiwang of herself, she would rather put the danger in the nation in danger. So that is the major, let's say, the major point that Guo More wanted to portray. So you can see the representativeness of Zheng Xiu. It's like those people in power, and relate when you relate that into the historical background. It's like really ironic, like a sarcasm of the Kuomintang government. They are ignoring, they are overlooking the fact that the whole nation is under attack by some invader, and instead they put more of their military forces into civil war. All right, so to compare with Zheng Xiu, there's another female figure, Chan Juan. With Chan Juan. Chan Juan at the beginning of the play, she's such a delicate young little girl, so naive, right? And you feel like she's a fragile. She can easily be break. However, when you read on, wow. So her true personalities, she is very strong and she is very tenacious. Okay, so when everyone, including Song Yu, that is in doubt with Qu Yuan, but she is the only one, she was the only one who believes in Qu Yuan and who looks for Qu Yuan and who would rather die for Qu Yuan. So this is really, kind of a contrast. Zheng Xiu is so selfish. However, Chan Juan is so selfless. Okay, she would sacrifice herself, for Qu Yuan, who is somebody that she is respected and she is loyal to. So these are the 4 characters, and I think the 4 characters are all very representative because those are the 4 groups, 4 types of person in the reality that when they faces the true situation, to true situation. And that I can see why also Qu Yuan received such a huge success, because those are the 4 majority groups of people. You can always see somebody in it. All right, so now let's talk about the value or the contribution of the play Qu Yuan. All right, so if you look it up, Qu Yuan, the comments right now are all kind of very positive. So it's more like the high point of the Chinese drama, and the most exciting, the most achieved drama play, stuff like that. Okay, so I want to talk about my personal comment. When you look at the comments online, or some of the literature, you will find that most of the comments or most of the praises are more leaning to the political value of Qu Yuan rather than the literary value of Qu Yuan. So I agree that Qu Yuan is a great piece of literature, and at that time we do need something like Qu Yuan to inspire us to lift up the spirit of the nation, and to enlighten everyone, and to warn the sleepy heads. Okay, so of course the political value of Qu Yuan is undeniable. However, if we look at solely on the aspect of literature value, okay, regardless of all the historical, political influence, only look at it in terms of literature. I think this play was really, really poorly executed. Okay, so first, just think, this was done in 10 days. They're lacking of the sophistication of the language. Of course, you don't have enough time to select your language, to choose from the the wordings from the massive Chinese language. And the story are not so logical as well. So when we look at a drama play, it's a story, right? It's like a novel. Therefore, a good novel, a good story should have all the all the plots linked each other really well. Okay, very logically progressed from the beginning to the ending. However, I think there are some gaps, there are some flaws in terms of the story. For example, I mentioned the motivation of Zheng Xiu setting up Qu Yuan just simply doesn't make sense, right? So Zheng Xiu is trying to preserve her favor from Chu Huaiwang because she doesn't want any newcomers, coming in beautiful concubines to take away the love from Chu Huaiwang. What does it have to do with Qu Yuan? That really doesn't make sense. Okay, so the author Guo More forcefully, so in the second part, he forcefully or intentionally trying to link these two things together. There's an explanation. The explanation is because Qu Yuan is an advocate of make alliance with the Qi Guo, right, and go against Qin Guo, right? So because of that, that will irritate the commissioner from Qin, and this commissioner or this ambassador, let's say, that will feel angry, upset, and this ambassador will probably send beautiful girls to Chu Huaiwang. Anyway, this doesn't really logical, doesn't really make sense, right? So this is one of the flaws that I think quite obvious. And the second flaw is actually, I think it's fatal to me, is the portrait of Qu Yuan. So Qu Yuan is supposed to be somebody with the spirit of rebelling, fighting back with the injustice, and somebody willing to fight for the nation. However, especially in the last scene, the part 5 in the Donghuang Miao, Taiyi Miao, there was a long conversation between Qu Yuan and Tai Pu, Zheng Zhanyin, who is the father of Zheng Xiu. And in that part, Qu Yuan explicitly said, "I do not hate Zheng Xiu. I do not blame Zheng Xiu." What was the original says? So I understand Zheng Xiu, and the only person that I hate, 我现在只恨张仪，对南后倒并不怨恨。南后他平常很喜欢我的诗，在国王面前也很帮助过我。I mean, as a fighter, as a rebellion, let's say that. Well, Qu Yuan doesn't blame Zheng Xiu in setting up, framing him up, and he blames somebody's listening to Zheng Xiu. Somebody is acting under Zheng Xiu's order. That's what we said. You really mentally not clear. Okay, so Zheng Xiu was the one who put her own benefit before the nation's benefit and set up Qu Yuan. So Qu Yuan, as somebody with a spirit of the loyal to the nation, should be blame, hate, discard Zheng Xiu very much. But at the end, what Qu Yuan says, 我不恨郑秀. I think that in some degree really weakens the portrait, the character, the figure of Qu Yuan. And I wish that Qu Yuan could be somebody stronger, could be somebody more sharp, in terms of his attitude towards Zheng Xiu. All right, but again, like I said, the whole thing was created within 10 days. So, I mean, it's understandable that there are some points that is not exactly perfect. And considering the time, considering the background, and also considering of the construction of the play, I think in general, the story does flow well. So small flaws, small mistakes just cannot overshine the whole diamond. I mean, it's still a beautiful piece and still a memorable drama play, and still plays a very important role in the modern Chinese literature, modern Chinese literature. All right. So again, like I said, in your presentation, do leave some time for the class activities. If you prefer, you can do question discussion, or you can do some kind of a group activity. It's all up to you. All right. So that wraps up the my presentation of Qu Yuan, this drama play. Okay. So before we go, let me just restate. Next Monday, there will be no lecture. Instead, it's going to be a movie viewing class. So on that day and before, you're supposed to watch, or if you don't want to watch, then you can read the script of Ca Guan from Lao She. And there still will be discussion questions, discussion posts due for that particular class as well. All right. And for the Wednesday, it is going to be a synchronous class. So everyone that enrolled into this course is required to be at present at 2:40 to our Zoom classroom. You can access the Zoom classroom through our course website on the Blackboard. Okay, so that concludes this lecture, and I will see you next week in our synchronous class. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching, and bye-bye, everyone.